Good evening. My name is Ephraim Adunya, and today we're on our fourth session of web development. Today we're going to be learning JavaScript. Okay, so our agendas for today are to learn what JavaScript is. We're going to learn what variables are. We're going to learn what arrays are, and then we're going to learn what conditionals are, what functions are, and what loops are. Okay, so the first thing we're going to learn about is what JavaScript is. Okay, JavaScript is a scripting or a programming language. Okay. A programming language is basically a language where you can talk to a computer and tell it what to do. Okay? So it is most often used to add logic to your website. Okay? So after we learn JavaScript, our websites won't be just like regular websites where the user is just looking at the page. Now we'll be able to let the user actually interact with the page. When they click on something, they'll actually do something. Okay? You can create dynamically updating content, control media, animate images, and much more with it. So what dynamically updating content means is, let's say you have a time or like a watch on your page, a clock on your page. You can make it so that the time is constantly updating and changing every single second so that you can see the seconds count. Okay? So right now, we're just going to go into our code and then start using JavaScript. Okay? I'm going to go out of this presentation. And then I'm going to open up Visual Studio in a new window. Let's wait for it to load. Okay, it's open. Now we're going to open a folder. You guys already know this. We're going to open a folder. And then we're going to go to Desktop 2022 Web Development. Once again. There we go. Then we're going to go into class and then click select folder. Okay? So now our folder is being opened. So now it's open. I'm just going to close all of these tabs because they saved it from before. So now we have a blank folder. I deleted all of our old tabs. Okay? All of our old files. So let's remember to mute. And now we're going to open a new file. And this file is just going to be called home.html. Okay? Wait for it to create the file. Let's wait. Okay, there we go. So, like you guys know, we can write HTML and then add the head, and then inside the head we can add the title. And then we're going to just type home. And then we're just going to create the body. And then inside the body, we're just going to write some header text just to see if it works, okay? I'm just going to make the name heading, okay? So now let's right click and then click reveal in File Explorer. And then we're going to just double click it to see it in our web browser. Okay. So now we can see our browser, our browser is working. Our HTML file works. The code we wrote works. Okay. So now what we're actually going to do is start writing JavaScript. Okay. So JavaScript is in the way that we use it with our web browser. It's almost very similar to CSS. Okay. So we can write some code inside the browser, inside the element. Using inline or embedded code, just like how we can write inline or embedded styles, like this. So let's first just make a button. You can do this with any element, but because a button is meant to be clicked, we're going to use a button. Okay? And then we're just going to right click me. Okay? Now we're going to save and then go back and then refresh the page. So we're just doing this step by step. Right now we don't have any JavaScript added into the element, so when we click it, nothing happens. Okay? But we can add JavaScript to the element. So with styles, you'd have to write style equals to add the JavaScript. But with Java to add this CSS. But with JavaScript, we can just type on click. So on click means when this button is clicked, do something. So we write it just like an attribute. On click equals, and then we're gonna add double quotes right next to the equals. Okay, and then we're gonna write on click equals, and then write what happens when the person clicks the button. What is supposed to happen? So we want it to make something called an alert. Okay? An alert is a little pop-up that appears at the top of a page. Okay? So we're gonna write alert, and then inside of the alert we're gonna write some text. We're gonna write this text in single quotes. Okay? Make sure to write the text that you want to display in single quotes. So the text will say, let's say, hello, and then we're gonna write a comma. You clicked me. Okay? Now we're gonna save. 1 second. Someone is unmuted. Make sure to mute, guys. So we're going to make this alert say hello, you clicked me. So now mute. So now we're gonna go back to our web page and then refresh our page. Okay? So now the page is refreshed. What do you guys think will happen when we click the button? So let's click it. Now you see it says hello, you clicked me, right? So now we can click OK to cancel out of it. Okay? So now we can go back into our code. We can add different kinds of pop-ups. Okay? So this alert, it's just all it does is alert you to something. It warns you that something. No, it tells you that something's gonna happen, and you can only click OK. Okay? So another thing that we can do is create something called a confirm. Okay? So confirm. What do you guys think will happen when we do confirm? We're gonna let's go back and then refresh the page.
Don't wait.
Let's stay muted. Now we're gonna refresh. So when we click the button now it gives you the option to say OK or cancel. So you can confirm whether or not you accepted it or whether you canceled it. Okay? Later, you guys will learn that you can actually get the value from the dialog. But right now, we're just testing out, okay? So we can click OK or cancel. So if we click cancel, it disappears. And if we click OK, it disappears too, okay? Now, we can also add one more called prompt, okay? What if you don't want a yes or no answer? What if you want the person to type out an answer, like in a dialog? So we're going to write prompt this time. And now, instead of writing hello, you clicked me, let's ask a different question. Let's say, what is your name? Okay, now we're going to click save, and then refresh the page. So now what do you guys think will happen? If we click it, look what happens. Now, it says, what is your name? And it asks for a dialog. So I can just write Ephraim, and then click OK. Okay, right now we're not doing anything with this information that it gets, because this is just basic JavaScript, but we'll learn how to use the information later. Okay, so now we've learned a bit about using JavaScript in inline. Now let's try to use it in its own tag, just like with styles. Okay, so now let's go back and then let's create our script element. Okay, when you're writing JavaScript, you have to use a script element. So let's click enter, and now let's create a script element. It says script, and then we close it, just like a style element. But the code that we write is very different from styles. Okay? So right now we're just gonna try to write something in something called a console. Okay? The console is where you're able to display messages that only developers are supposed to see. Okay? So let's write console.log. So console.log means we're going to get the console, and then what are we going to do? We're going to write some text in it. We're going to log some text into it. Okay? So now we're going to click the parentheses, and now we're going to, in double quotes, we're going to write what we want to log in the console. So let's say what we want to log is, hello, you're in the console right now. Okay? Now we're going to save it, and then refresh the page. So right now nothing happens, right? But the reason that nothing happens is because we're not in the console right now. To go into the console, we have to do something called inspect the page. Okay? So we're going to right click the page, and then we're going to click inspect. Now we're in the inspector. Okay? This is the inspector. Every browser has an inspector. Okay? Usually there are tabs at the top where you can change between what part of the inspector you're on. Right now we're on the elements tab. We need to go to the console tab to read the console. Okay? So we're just going to click console. And now you can see our message has been displayed, right? It says, hello, you're in the console right now. If you guys can't see, I can zoom in a bit. It says, hello, you're in the console right now. Okay? We can write any kind of message we want. For example, we can write, "Hi, my name is Ephraim." And let's change this. Here we go. Now let's go back and refresh the page. Now you can see it says, "Hi, my name is Ephraim." So that was how we can use the console a bit. Now I'm going to stop the recording, and then next we're going to talk about using JavaScript in an external file. Okay?